What's up, Lil? Yeah, living that talking head. Coming to you live with Daigo and VRified Games. How we doing, Daigo?
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm alright, man. So tell me, what in the landscape and gone wrong is going on over here?
Well, today we're taking a look at Trenches VR on both Steam VR and MetaQuest Standalone. And before we go any further, I want to say thank you to the developers and Prep Games for providing keys so we can check this out for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, Trenches VR, what is it? Well, it's a port.
Oh, a port.
Yeah. The original Trenches released a few years back, I want to say 2021, 2022, for flat screen. And released around this time as well. It was a World War I set survival horror in the trenches.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a really unique yet haunting setting for any sort of a horror game, in my opinion. And the flat screen game, we did play it back in the day. We did try to get it in VR with Vorpex, I believe, as it was a Unity title. And back then, both UEVR and UUVR were simply concepts in the minds of developers. They weren't an actual thing yet. And we had mixed success. It wasn't amazing, but we were able to play it. And it was a fun time. But now we have honest-to-God VR ports. And what's really impressive, in my opinion, is that this is all the work of a solo dev. All the way back from the original Trenches to this VR port, it's one guy, one person created all this, and that has to be commended. Really does. However, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but because it was one person, you can see where corners have been cut. You can see where they've tried their best, I know that, to make it all cohesive and work together. And for the most part, they've exceeded. But there are still problems here, and especially with the MetaQuest version, it's very buggy. Like, I've had instances where I tried to open a menu and it interacted with the door in front of the menu, which was bizarre. When I try to holster the knife, it sometimes spazzes out and the knife goes flying across the room. I don't know what's going on there. But the biggest thing, and again, I understand this is a solo dev, the biggest thing is to get this running on MetaQuest platforms, obviously, it had to be scaled back to get the performance just right. So one of the tricks that the dev employed is it's as old as time itself. It's fog. It's game fog that disguises that pop in. Yeah, it hides it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to horror titles because it can add to the atmosphere. Like look at Silent Hill, for instance. But here on the MetaQuest, and it's very evident at the beginning in the tutorial hub, if you like, when you go to the shooting range, you cannot see the items you're supposed to shoot because of the fog. So, that's bizarre. It's not an issue with the Steam version, obviously, because while the fog is still there, it's not as pervasive. It's scaled back because, there's more horsepower for a PC, so it doesn't need to be that aggressive in terms of hiding the culling. But you notice that straight away on the MetaQuest version. Now, mind you, it also, perhaps unintentionally, heightens the tension, because when you're running from the monster and that fog is so pervasive, the monster could literally be feet in front of you and you don't know. So it can add to the tension there. So I don't know if that's a plus or a minus. You can make up your own minds there. So again, I don't mean to be negative. I don't want to be negative. This is a solo dev who's put their heart and soul into it. When it works great. There's a lot to love about this. But I had to get those nitpicks out of the way. In my opinion, at least the MetaQuest version, Steam does not seem to have as many of the bugs. But at least with the MetaQuest version, it could have had some more time in the oven just to iron out those kinks. And I'm sure updates will come. But in my opinion, it was released a little bit too early. So now we're showing footage from both Steam VR and MetaQuest standalone versions on screen. You will see on the top right hand of the screen a symbol denoting whether it's Steam VR or MetaQuest, and that's how you will know which version is playing at any given time. Obviously, I've talked at length already about the MetaQuest version, so let's go to the PC version, and it's identical in terms of layout and gameplay. There's no difference there. It's just the hardware limitations of the Quest itself that required it to scale back. So that fog that was hiding the pop-in, it's still there, but it's scaled back. It's not as pervasive, and it looks more natural. But I will also say that the textures themselves seem to have taken a hit. And what I mean by that is, I was expecting the port of the original game to have the same textures, and it doesn't. It seems that the textures are also lower poly or lower res. It's identical to what you see on the Quest version. That's what you see on the PC version. But if you play the flat version of the game, those textures are of a higher fidelity. So I was a little taken aback by that. But anyway, it is what it is. It still looks really cool. The atmosphere is there. Trench warfare in World War I. had to be horrific as it was, this kind of captures that feeling of isolation and terror that someone could come over those ridges at any time that the soldiers at the 100 plus years ago must have felt. So it captures the atmosphere really well. At its heart, it's basically a roguelike. You do have an objective. That objective is find 9 dolls, or, well, they're called dolls, but they look a lot like kids. You have to find 9 of them. They're scattered around. It seems to be procedurally generated each time. Those babies don't seem to be in the same place. The maps themselves are expansive, and you will get lost. Oh, you will absolutely get lost. So basically what this is, it's a roguelike fetch quest where you have to find these 9 dolls and then progress. In terms of the survival horror aspect, the dev relies on 3 things here. Firstly, you have a central antagonist, and yeah, this is straight out of some sort of Lovecraftian / Silent Hill kind of body horror thing. It's really scary. It's basically a pair of legs and a torso, no hands, no head, and it's coming after you. Really scary looking thing. But this relies on more of the hide and seek kind of survival horror rather than the run and gun or the action heavy survival horror. So think more like Alien Isolation in terms of gameplay. You want to hide from this monster, you want to evade it, you want to get around it and progress. You do have weapons in the form of a gun and a knife. However, they are next to useless for this thing. I mean, I honestly don't know why the gun is even here. And it doesn't seem to slow it down so much or stop it at all. Yeah, it's bizarre, but this thing is kind of attracted to sound as well, so it even uses your microphone to find you. Now, I mentioned before that you have to find these 9 dolls. Now, in order to find them, you have this whistle. So you blow this whistle and then you have to listen for the direction of the baby crying. That's where the doll is. And that's quite cool, that kind of spatial audio and the use of the whistle. But this also alerts the monster. So you gotta listen out for the monster's footsteps as it's running around looking for you as well. So that whole element of hide and seek and using the whistle and the double-edged sword that the whistle helps but also hinders you at the same time. That's really cool gameplay. That's really solid. It's fantastic. The dev did really great here. So 2 out of the 3 things the dev relies on is sound design and the monster, which we've gone over there. And finally, jump scares. This game is heavy on the jump scares. Now, yes, they are very effective in the beginning. Like, they are very effective when you don't expect them. But after some time, you kind of know they're coming, yeah? You know they're coming. You know they don't do any damage to you physically, so that scare factor just kind of melts away and it becomes more of a hindrance to the gameplay and your enjoyment of it than anything else. So it's effective in the beginning, but it wears thin because I believe, and again, no disrespect, but I believe the dev relied heavily upon jump scares. Now, had they been more sparse, more spaced out, it would have been far more effective in my opinion, but it's like every couple of steps you got something screaming at you or running at you, and yeah, if they stuck with that central antagonist, that sort of Alien Isolation style gameplay, yeah, that's fine, that's brilliant, it works. The environment itself is fantastic. In terms of traversal, you will get lost, you will find sections that are blocked off with barbed wire and you have to find a knife, and once you find that knife you can cut through the barbed wire and progress, so that's kind of cool as well, a sort of a Metroidvania kind of aspect to the map. And again, I have to remind myself, this is a solo dev who put their heart and soul into this. You can see the effort, you can see the love that went into this thing. And it has to be commended. This is one person that made it. The flat screen game is a lot of fun, and now in VR it's a lot of fun as well. Once those nitpicks have been ironed out, the MetaQuest version will be fantastic. So again, take a look at the sort of the jankiness, the glitches that comes with motion controls on the MetaQuest. Maybe having a look at the fog, if it could be scaled back just a little bit, because really at the beginning when you can't even see the targets you're supposed to hit in a shooting range, you know something's not right. I'm sure it can be optimized further for MetaQuest. Now, the Steam VR version is not without its but they're nowhere near the same level that the MetaQuest version is, so there is that. And you know, the Steam VR version has extra elements like bugs running around, little things like that, little atmospheric touches that obviously the MetaQuest is missing because I had to scale it back, so it's worth noting that that's there as well. However, the textures do seem to have taken a bit of a hit when compared to its flat screen big brother. Other than that, the games are virtually identical. Small differences between the flat and the VR version, very, very small, very minute. But overall, yeah, it's the same experience. Motion controls, once fixed, will be fantastic. Oh, one other thing. This is more of a suggestion than it is a critique. But the game uses a microphone. so the monster can hear you, yes. You do have this whistle, which is a gameplay mechanic to find the items you're looking for. Rather than a button press, why not use the microphone? Now, what I mean by that is, if I think back to PSVR 1 and PSVR Worlds, there was this like gangster game on PSVR Worlds, and whenever you blew into the microphone and you had a cigar, you would blow out the smoke. So it was a cool aesthetic. But couldn't that not work here, that when you hold the controller up to your headset and blow, like as if you're holding a whistle, that activates the whistle rather than a button press? I don't know. It's just a suggestion. I think it would add to the game, maybe minutely in the eyes of others, and that's fine. But anywhere where you can add immersion is a plus, in my opinion. So that is just an opinion, okay? It's just a suggestion. It's not a critique. How the game functions now is perfectly fine in terms of the whistle. That's just a suggestion. So there you go, guys. That is Trenches VR, available now on Steam, VR, MetaQuest platform, and coming to PSVR 2. If you'd like to purchase it for yourself, there is an affiliate link in the description. It would help us out as well. Yeah, Trenches VR. So I guess we're going to leave it there, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, queries, any critiques, put them down below. If indeed there are any games you'd like us to look at VRifying in the future, put those down below and we will presumably get back to you eventually. You can also follow us on TikTok for our adventures over there, which are basically condensed versions of what we do over here. And yeah, follow us on all social medias. All links will be in the descriptions, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you there also. Alright, VRified Games out.
Y'all, listen up. Exclusive deal time. If y'all in the market for a meta headset, accessory, or game in the store, check out our affiliate links in the description for some money off on those bad boys. Not only do you get a sweet little discount on any of the sales, we also get a little something, you know what I mean? We much appreciate it. Help the channel out. Thanks, y'all. Yeah.